season. Enjoy the holidays with your friends, loved ones, family. Stay safe. I just want to also apologize for getting this video out to you so late. I've been feeling under the weather, and I can't do the readings if I'm feeling energetically low. So I apologize for the delay. I had to wait for the fever to clear up before I could start the recording, okay? So sorry about that, Virgos. You have some good things coming through for you. The only thing I'm feeling is a lot of temptation on the love front, okay? But everything else, it seems really stable. I feel like for those who are grappling with financial worries, I feel things clearing up for you. So I'm going to go into your initial messages first, and then we're going to go into this spread here. So it's the same spread that I've been doing for the past few months. It's just all the cards are laid out. That way you can see things, and I can see how the cards interact with one another. So let's go into your initial messages that came through when I was shuffling. I feel like a lot of you are have been or are still or have recently left a work situation. I feel like the work situation itself, it was stable, but I feel that it wasn't very exciting. It was kind of boring. A lot of you felt like there wasn't room for growth, there wasn't room for advancement. So the work itself seemed very stable. It seemed like, it wasn't very challenging. And I feel that you had to either get out of it or you're thinking about getting out of it, mainly because you want more of a challenge. You want opportunities to grow. You also even want opportunities to make a difference in the world. Like, you just don't want to go to work and just, collect the paycheck. You want the work to be meaningful, and you want it to speak to you on a soul level. So I do feel a lot of you are kind of like at a crossroads when it comes to your career as well. And then I feel other people are like juggling, I see here juggling two sources of income. So this is like doing two jobs, trying to get by. So I feel like on the one hand, there's like a big part of you, like a big group of Virgoans that I'm reading for, who are feeling very, very financially stable. They have one main job and one side gig, or they're in some type of a institutional setting where they're making a lot of money. And then there are others who are like trying to scrape by with two jobs and trying to make ends meet. So I feel like a lot of financial worries coming in for the latter group. A lot of you might be thinking about shifting, away from self-employment into trying to work a regular 9 to 5 or vice versa, ditching a 9 to 5 job in order to seek something that is, private practice or even like self-employment. What I'm also feeling is they're saying, and this is more of a playful energy, it's not much to worry about. They're saying to keep your eyes out for your belongings, for your personal possessions, for your money. There is somebody in your midst who is a little bit sneaky, and they're very charming, very deceiving, like they're very charming. And they come across very innocent, but I feel like they're very mischievous, and there's lies and deception and like misleading information. Like, you can't get a straight answer from this person. So they're saying keep an eye out on for your belongings, for things especially on your table. Be very vigilant about your environment. And I feel like, a lot of the times you guys, like, you leave things in the same place all the time. So when somebody moves something from your desk, you actually know when something is moved, okay? Or if somebody has been in your room, you know. And so they're saying for you to like really trust it. If you feel like somebody has been in your room, it's best to file an incident report. If you feel like somebody is like moving things around on your desk, it is best for you to file, to look into that a little bit further. Because I feel like a lot of you are very stickler for where things are placed, because you don't like looking for things. So if things are moved around without you being the one to move them around, it's really important for you to, file some type of incident report, mainly because there's a mischievous type of energy around you. On the other hand, I feel like for some of you, I'm sensing a lot of rejuvenation that needs to be had as a result of a trip, okay? I feel like, well, the way I said it, it might have been confusing because I feel like they're saying a trip, a very therapeutic trip is going to be in the picture for you. I feel like you're not taking the trip for this month. I feel that it's like an overseas trip and you might be taking it with another person. So you are kind of trying to figure out the logistics, trying to figure out the details, waiting for the time where, you might be realistically be able to take the trip. So I feel like you're talking about some type of trip with another person. And I feel like this is going to be a very emotional trip, is what they're saying. It, um, it's going to be a very therapeutic trip. Okay, so that could be just for your emotional well-being, but I feel like you are thinking about somebody from far away. You want to see them, and you want to, do some healing work with them. So that those are the messages coming through. Um, I feel like for some of you, you're at a crossroads when it comes to your career path, okay? And I feel like a lot of you are dabbling in some type of self-employment right now, where you are working on where you're working on like a client basis or like a commission basis. You are dictating your own hours. And I feel like you're trying to expand your business, but you're not really sure how to do it. A lot of you might be in the, might have you might have a business, but I don't feel like there's a physical address, okay? It might be a P.O. box, or it could be something that is done via the internet. So there isn't like a physical location. I feel like it's more of a virtual location. So like a chat room, a website or something like that, where you are booking appointments or where you are meeting people. So I do sense a lot of web-based operations, web-based business coming through for many of you. I do sense that, they're saying that dealing with a lot of people with a lot of emotional problems. So this can play out in your work environment. This can play out in your family unit. This can play out with the people that you are emotionally involved with. So be careful of that energy. It is not our place to fix other people. And what that means is I do feel somebody is coming through heavily for this month. And this is somebody that you have a significant tie with. And they need your emotional support. And take that however you want, because I feel like there's a lot of good things coming through for this month, like as it pertains to you specifically. I do see a lot of blessings, but I do feel like a heavy energy of somebody else whose life is kind of like in disarray. They're coming to you. They need a shoulder to lean on. So you're hearing about problems from another person. And of course, I feel like this is something you feel like you're used to. However, I feel like this is somebody that you are very emotionally invested in. And they're coming to you with some sort of like, they need to vent. And they don't need advice. I feel like they need to vent. And I feel your energy softening up as a result of this person coming to you, opening themselves up to you in a very candid, in a very unfiltered, and also in a very like sincere way. And I feel that it's a very therapeutic month overall. I feel a lot of you are dealing with some type of healing, are in some type of healing profession, or in some type of like you're doing something therapeutic. So you could be a massage therapist, you could be a therapist, you could be a doctor, you could be like a surgeon, you could even be like a dentist. I feel like you're in some line of work where you are helping people feel better about themselves. So you can, by all means, you can even sell cosmetics, or could be a makeup artist where you are helping other people boost their self-esteem. So I feel like you're going to have to play the healer for this month, where you're helping somebody deal with, flush out their inner demons, talk about their inner demons, talk about their past, so that you can allow some type of healing to take place. And I feel like it's going to serve you well to be very, very sympathetic with other people for this month. And it's going to serve you well to be extra vigilant as well. So balancing the rationality with the emotions, balancing the naivety with the sense of discernment, that's going to be required. So don't be taken in, by a sob story. Keep your wits about you as well, because I feel like you're dealing with somebody who's very charming, very cunning, but a little bit sneaky. Okay, so keep that in check. The last message that I'm getting here is I feel like it's a very relaxing month. I don't feel there's like heavy, busy energy. A lot of it is waiting, waiting, waiting. So I feel like you're like kind of, I feel a lot of you might be getting antsy, might be getting kind of like restless, but overall the environment is not busy. You're just waiting on something. And I feel like, as a result of having to wait, as a result of not being able to move and do things, I feel like your excess energy, your excess mental energy needs to be channeled into creative ventures so that you're not irritable. Okay, so like a Virgo that is forced to stay still and not being productive with his or her time can be quite irritable when you deal with them. And I feel like that's what's happening with you. And you want to be careful about that energy. Find something to keep your hands, your mind occupied so that you're not antsy and nervous and irritable. Okay. Last message. I feel like somebody, for those of you who are coupled up, okay, I feel like somebody knows that you're coupled up, but they're still pursuing you. And I feel like you're flattered by this person. You're taken in by this person. Like you might like put them on a pedestal, and you might have inkling that they like you. However, they know you're in a relationship. Especially for those who are in a relationship, they know you're in a relationship, and they're still pursuing you. So I feel like that might be the sneaky person that they were talking about. But I feel like you need to really see this situation in a very realistic lens, okay? So you might be flattered, yes, but that says a lot about that person if they know you're involved with somebody else and they're still pursuing you. So that's not a good start to a new relationship. So just be careful about that if you're dealing with that. I'm going to go into your reading. So the first two cards that we have out here is the Wheel of Fortune, which is a very, very positive card, things turning in your favor. And I do feel like if you are dealing with some type of financial loss, financial fluctuation, financial hardships, where you are juggling multiple jobs in order to make ends meet, I do sense that your financial situation is going to turn around for the better. Okay, so not to worry, Virgos. I do feel this heavy, well, I did feel this heavy energy coming through this month at least. If you have recently started a new job, taken on a new job, or even like have struggled with some financial worries in the past, I do sense that things are going to be stable for you as well, and things are going to turn around in your favor, okay? On the other hand, if you have been juggling two people when it comes to the romantic front, this is about dropping the ball as well. So I feel like finances looks very, very stable. Juggling multiple people is not going to end well. So just be careful about that, because I do see strife coming through. If you are juggling two people and you're trying to decide who to date, who to be with, and things like that, that's fine. And I feel that, some news, some information, some insights will be coming through for you to decide who's a better option for you. All right. So I do sense that either way, by the end of this month, you will have all the information you need as to which option is a better choice for you and who is a better who's a better match for you. I do feel a lot of you are grappling with some major decision when it comes to your work situation. So I feel like you're juggling two jobs. You are contemplating leaving one job for another. You're contemplating leaving one partner for another. You're also contemplating leaving, like whether or not you should shift away from self-employment to the regular 9 to 5 working for somebody else, or vice versa, leaving the 9 to 5 job in order to pursue some type of self-employment or, creative endeavor. So you have a lot on your plate when it comes to like, some major decisions when it comes to your financial situation. If you have already decided on this, then I do feel this is the month in which, things are going to start rolling along. You might encounter the first bump in the road when it comes to getting people to be receptive to your creative venture. But I do sense that you're going to be able to make great strides and traction because you work very, very diligently in everything that you do. You're going to be able to convince people to come to your point of view, or to persuade people about the merits of your ideas and of your, skills and expertise that you're bringing to the table. In the work environment, especially for those of you who are self-employed, on the work environment, I feel like you're dealing with a lot of people who are very skeptical, who are very jaded with life, who are very analytical, and they require a lot of proof. They require a lot of show me facts, show me figures, show me the statistics on that. So they need you to back up all of your claims with like real life practical. They need like citations, they need facts and figures, they need statistics. So I feel like you're dealing with people who are not easily persuaded. They have they're very fixed in their opinions, they're very fixed in their ideas. I feel like, Leo people and Scorpio people come to mind because those are the two fixed signs that I'm seeing here. So you're dealing with people who are very stubborn, very rigid, very tunnel vision, and they're very fixed in their ways. On top of that, I do feel like they've been jaded by life, and they are assessing you and really, putting you under a microscope to make sure that your ideas, your knowledge is stable. Okay, so your foundation, like your knowledge, your foundation is stable. So you're dealing with jaded, skeptical people. On the positive side, they could be very intelligent. They can give you good feedback and advice. On the other hand, they can be so jaded to the point where they're going to question everything that you try to throw at them. So there is a defensiveness coming through on the work environment, especially for those of you who are self-employed. You're going to have to really go above and beyond to prove yourself. So I feel like you're kind of intimidated by some people in your work environment. On the other hand, we do have, overall, your financial situation is looking a lot better, which is good. And so I feel that you're working under the directives of people who are very, very knowledgeable, and they're giving you proper advice as to how to move on, how to better refine, rethink, or even reorganize your work processes. Okay, so it looks very good. The second cluster deals with an offer of love, or an offer of friendship, or an offer for flirtation or something like that coming through. And going back to what I mentioned earlier, I feel like somebody knows if you are coupled up, right? There's somebody that has been eyeing you for quite some time, and they're making their feelings known. And I feel like this person, the message that the images that I'm getting is somebody who's like kind of socially awkward, and I feel like they don't really know, they're not like very good with flirting. So I feel like they're a little bit sloppy when it comes to making their intentions known, or they're trying to, downplay or hide their feelings for you. And when they come forward, they're just very, very like clumsy. They might spill things, they might say the wrong things, they might get nervous and tongue-tied and stutter, or I feel like they might just be very nervous around you. So that's what I'm sensing. And I feel that, you're trying to maintain a straight face, but you don't really know how to do it. So I feel something comical like that coming through in a flirtatious manner between you and another person. So let me just go through these two cards. I have here the Princess of Cups. And the Princess of Cups, this is the Page of Cups, indicates to me like an offer coming through from another person. A lot of you might be dealing with a fire sign. So this is a Sagittarius, an Aries, or a Leo. If you are dealing with a fire sign who is coming through to make their feelings known to you, what I see happening is this is somebody who is quite stubborn, who is very like alpha, even if it's a female, it can be somebody who's very, very alpha. They have a lot of masculine energy about them. They're somebody quite aggressive, quite like, if they like something, they will make it known. And I feel like this person has their eyes on you, and they really want to, make it known that they like you. Kind of, I feel like somebody who's very territorial. And I do sense somebody who's very courageous, very honest, and just very good and sound. However, emotionally they are very underdeveloped. Okay, so what that means is they might not know how to express themselves in a emotionally healthy way. They might have a lot of they might need a lot of affection, a lot of love, a lot of validation. And they might not, and rather than asking for these things, they might be prone to jealousy, fits of rage when they don't get what they want. So I feel like it's somebody with a little bit of a temper problem. They don't know how to control or manage their emotional state. So I do see a huge emotional swing with this person. On the one hand, they're very courageous, very generous, very loving, and very kind. But at their worst, when they feel like neglected, or um, when they feel as if they're overlooked, they can be very attention seeking. They can just be just I feel like emotionally they're very young. A lot of you, this might be like a somebody in your family, and I feel that they're trying to reach out to you. There's some type of a peace offering, and it's coming in a very, they're saying in a very translucent way. So I feel that, they're from a mile away, you see them coming, and I'm seeing somebody who's quite clumsy. I feel like they're saying from a mile away, you can see this person coming. So you know what they want, you know what their intentions are. And I feel like you're kind of like playing dumb. You're pretending that you don't know what their intentions are. You're waiting for them to like arrive at their to be able to voice or verbalize their intentions. Even though you know what their intentions are, you want them to get to that point where they are honest with their feelings. So I feel a lot of you are kind of taking a step back, and you're not really, you're pretending as if you don't know what they mean, so that they can explain themselves, so that they can arrive at their own truths and to be honest with their own intentions. So I feel like you're practicing a little bit of tough love with this person. For others of you, this could even be a romantic partner that you're dealing with who is a little bit like attention seeking, a little bit difficult to deal with, a little bit more self-centered. They might come to you like expecting you to drop everything on your plate in order to accommodate them. And I feel like they might be just emotionally underdeveloped. They're not bad people. They're just a little bit more self-centered, a little bit more emotionally underdeveloped. So they might not know that what they're doing is inappropriate. So I feel like you're setting firm boundaries with them, and you're doing so in a very loving but very detached way to teach them about where they end and where you begin, so that they don't encroach upon your space, your time, and that they don't feel this sense of like entitlement. So I feel like it's good boundary setting, but I feel like a lot of you might be romantically involved with this person, or might have like a lot of emotional investment in this person, and you're trying to change their behavior in a very good manner. So you're trying to lead them down the right path when it comes to how to express themselves emotionally in a healthy way, or finding like an outlet for their emotions so that they're not clamming up, or they're not expressing it in rage and fury. So this person, I feel, is a fire sign: Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo, sun, moon, or rising. I do feel a very strong Leo vibe, stronger than the other signs. Leo and Aries specifically. The next cluster that we are dealing with here is the Death card, as well as the Three of Wands. And this Death card has been coming out for a lot of signs. The Death card indicates new major transformations that are coming through, and overall it is going to be very, very positive, okay? It's linked up here with the Three of Wands, and the Three of Wands is waiting for an opportunity to come in that can be very fruitful for you. And a lot of you are waiting on multiple opportunities to come through. This is like large scale clients, large portfolios that you're handling, commission checks, Even some type of like waiting on some type of I feel like court settlements, or even, back pay, like disability back pay from disability, as well as some type of a resolution, like finalized contracts that are being signed so that you can move on. And it's going to be coming through for this month. I do feel they're saying there it's not over yet, it's not done and over yet, and it's not sealed and delivered. They're saying that there is still some last minute snags along the way that's preventing the situation from ending. And I do feel like, for example, if you're waiting on some divorce papers, right? The other person might throw in some type of stipulations like, I want this before, I want this, I want that, and I want, a portion of this or a percentage of that before I will finalize the divorce for you. So you're dealing with another person who is quite strategic, and they might be putting up a fight or making it difficult for you to move on. I feel like people might have their view. I feel like if you are kind of like if you're trying to if you're trying to get people on board, I feel investors, financiers, people that are in a position of authority and status, if you're trying to get them on board with something that you're doing, you're going to have to put on quite a spectacular show in order to prove to them that you're worth the investment. So you're going to have to be put on center stage, and you're going to have to outperform all of the competitors in order to land this lucrative assignment. But it is coming through, and it's going to be very phenomenally good for you when it comes to stabilizing your income. The death card is what I'm sensing with this person here. If you're dealing with that fire sign that I mentioned earlier, this person is going through a major, like metamorphosis. If you have had like some type of emotional rift, or some type of time or distance away from this person, they're coming back in, and I feel almost like they're putting on a show. Some of them might go through like major metamorphosis where they have changed into a different person, and they know how to be more cooperative. They know how to be, more patient. They know how to regulate their emotions. But I do feel that something is going to trigger this month to bring back the old person. So I feel like there's still a lot of work that needs to be done. And then on the other hand, I feel some of you might be dealing with somebody in the past. They were one way, and now they need something from you, so they have totally drastically changed themselves. And I feel like the change is very superficial, so you're dealing with somebody who's very sneaky, and be very careful about that. Okay, you are a very good judge of character, and a lot of the times I feel like you give people the benefit of the doubt, often too many times, when you should just call them out on, their false behavior. So I feel that it's really important for you to just, be very vigilant of your surrounding. And if you changes don't happen overnight. And in order for a person to change themselves 180, it's just not something that can happen within a short period of time. So if you've seen major changes, just be aware of the underlying causes for it, because I feel like it is a very superficial change. It's not something that is long lasting, and it's not coming about as, true insights. It's coming through as a result of somebody wanting something, so that they're changing their behavior in order to get what they want. But then once they get what they want, they're going to revert back, and there's still going to be a lot of conflict further down the line between the two of you. So just be careful of people coming through promising that they have changed, okay? Because I feel like the changes happening are very much like on a superficial level. For others of you who are dealing with a water sign, we do have a Pisces, Cancer, or a Scorpio sun, moon, or rising. I do feel like a lot of you might be romantically involved with this person, or you are dealing with them in a work environment. I feel like this is somebody that is very supportive, very like a very good team player. They're very cooperative as well. And I do sense for this month they are going to be on your side, okay? They're taking your side. They're going to be a very good ally for you, a very good source of support. Love and support is what I'm feeling from this person. They're going to help you battle through some type of difficult, go through some type of difficult journey in your life. They're giving you advice as to how to do so. And I do sense as well, if you have been dealing with some type of conflict with this person in the past, I feel that both of you will be able to reach a point where you start to work together in a more harmonious manner. I feel like in the past there might have been a lot of misunderstanding. This person is somebody who's very passive. They don't come forward until it's absolutely necessary. You might have thought they were very selfish, but I do feel they're going to really step up their game. They're really going to give you a lot of support behind the scenes, or defend your honor is what I'm sensing. And as a result of it, I feel that you're going to have a newfound kind of like impression of this person. Okay, now in terms of your spiritual advice, first of all, I did mention that a lot of you are in the healing profession. I feel like that is your life's calling. Okay, they're saying pretty much if you are in some type of healing profession, for many of you, you are on the right track and you're going to make major strides, major success in this endeavor. And then for others of you, they're saying here, you have a water sign. So this is a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. This is somebody that is going to provide very, very strong insights. This is somebody who's going to be a very good business partner if you're thinking about partnering up, or you're thinking about hiring somebody to expand your business operations to help you do something. I feel like this is somebody that is kind of like God-given, like they are preordained to come into your life because they're serving as a spiritual mentor, a major source of support for you in order to get something done so that you can move on to the next phase in your life. If you are romantically linked up with a water sign and there has been a lot of conflict in the past, they're saying there's going to be a victory here with a water sign, okay? Like against a water sign, or a victory with a water sign. And if you've been, if the interaction has been very conflictual, there's going to be some type of breakage, some type of walking away, or even some type of victory that's going to be had here. I feel like a lot of you have worked really, really hard to climb to a position of authority. And I feel like this is the month in which you are going to shine, in which you are just going to sit back and be able to reap the fruits of your labor, all of the hard work you've invested in changing people, helping people, and especially changing something that is broken, like fixing something that is broken. Things are going to start to function again, and I feel like it's going to be in a very fruitful manner, but I don't see it coming through for this month. I do see on that's when you're going to start to see tangible results, and that's when you're going to start to see breakthroughs. Okay, so overall, I feel like it's going to be changing decisions. I also feel like, oh yeah, also Mercury is your ruler, so you are heavily, heavily affected by Mercury in retrograde. So just keep that in mind, especially for Virgo and Sun, and also Virgo rising as well. So just keep that in the back of your mind when you are making major purchases or even major life decisions. Okay. So I do see that a lot of you are going to have like a 180 turnaround when it comes to, like, you're going to change direction when it comes to, you thought you knew somebody, but you might realize that they're misrepresenting themselves. And then others of you thought like you don't like somebody, and then they do something to surprise you, to make you really like them. So I feel like some major, major reversals when it comes to like feeling one way and then having our feelings challenged as a result of events happening for this month. I feel like it's done in a love, romance, and relationships. Sorry about that. I'm going to reshuffle. So don't jump the gun this month. So if you've got fire and water signs coming back up, let me pull out one more card here. Okay. So, Virgos, you got some really good cards. I feel like this is probably the best spread in terms of the love relationship. Actually, your reading is actually pretty positive overall across the board. So, but more than anything, we do have the Two of Cups here, which denotes to me some type of a serendipitous meeting, like some type of a soulmate connection as well. So you have some very good cards. Let's go into the reading. I'm going to talk about the past. So I feel like a lot of you are coming into this month with already like with an established relationship, like already in a relationship. So in the past position, we do have the Four of Wands, which is stable home, stable relationship. This oftentimes denote to me like a marriage type of situation where people are all working together in order to build something together. So I feel like for some of you, you might be involved here with another person who is very reliable, who is who you trust completely. I do feel you're involved with somebody who likes to dither with things. They have a very childlike energy about them, where they like to work with their hands. They like to fix things. They like to fix like to have like multiple projects. They're very talented. They have a lot of skills. They have a lot of talent, but I feel like they're a little bit scattered, a little bit like unfocused, okay? And then I feel for others of you, you're just, I see some type of age difference. You might be dating somebody who is younger or who's like significantly older. So I feel like some type of age difference where somebody is like very serious and the other person is very silly. So temperamental differences, age differences. You might be in a relationship. You might be in a relationship with somebody where it's sort of like a mentor-student type of situation as well. I feel like the relationship is very, very stable, and I feel like there's a lot of growth. There's a lot of like mutual respect, good reception in this relationship. The Four of Pentacles also indicates like physically, you know, sharing a space together, sharing a house together, and living together in a very harmonious way where each person does their own thing, but at the end of the day, they really, you know, have a common purpose. So it's a very, very stable environment for some of you in the past, okay? Which brings us to the present situation. In the present situation, we have the Ten of Pentacles. So this relationship that you are in, you have accumulated a lot of stuff together. You're living together, sharing the same space, wanting to move, wanting to like take the relationship to the next level. So if you're already in a relationship, if you're already living together, the next step is, you know, proposal, marriage, etc. So I do sense that coming through for many of you who are already in stable relationship and you're already living together. So the natural, you know, next step is going to be meeting the parents, bringing the parents into the fold, taking the relationship to the next level, thinking about joining your assets together, buying engagement rings and things like that. So that's coming through. It's linked up here in the present situation with a fire sign. So this is Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo. And I feel like a lot of you might already be in a stable relationship with a fire sign, Sagittarius, Aries, or Leo, somebody with this sun, moon, or rising. And I feel, you know, going back to, I feel like one person is very, like a very old soul, and the other person is very young. One person is very serious, and the other person is like silly. So there is some type of like great attraction in this relationship. But I feel like if you're, especially if you're involved with this fire sign, I almost feel like this person, their life is not as stable as yours. You're at a point where you want to build your career. You might have property, you might have assets, you have a lot of financial wealth in your environment. And I feel like this person is still leading a carefree, almost like a nomadic lifestyle where they have not accumulated a lot of stuff. They might not have a career, they might not know where they're headed. So I feel like you're physically attracted to somebody and you get along really well and there's a lot of chemistry, great attraction. But in terms of like building a future together, it's a little bit shaky right now. It can still work, but it's still, in the preliminary stages and it's still a little bit shaky. Okay. So if you're in a stable relationship and you're living together, I feel like things are being taken to the next level. Be careful about pregnancy because we do have what's coming through as the Empress, which is expanding the domain, bringing new people into the environment. So that means, moving in with parents, taking in parents, and letting parents meet, letting your significant other meet the in-laws, for example. I also feel pregnancy, like bringing another, a child into the relationship. So I do sense pregnancy coming through. If you are expecting, if you're not expecting, be careful and protect yourself from it. It's linked up here with the Two of Cups, which is a really, really beautiful energy. It basically means divine timing when it comes to pregnancy, when it comes to birth and conception. And with this card, it also indicates to me a very strong soulmate connection. Meeting a kindred spirit, meeting somebody or being with somebody that really gets you on an emotional level, okay? So a lot of you might be running across, if you're single, definitely please get out there and date. And especially, okay? I feel like for some of you, it's going to be done through electronic communication. It's also going to be somebody you meet through a work front. Be careful about mixing business with pleasure. It's not always a great thing to do, but I do sense like when this person comes into the picture, I feel like your soul is going to recognize them. This is a very strong soulmate connection, a very star, like it's almost like a fated type of meeting between you and another person, okay? With these things already. So we have here an earth sign, a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn. And I feel like you might already be involved with this person. This person is getting their financial situation in order. And they are kind of like, I feel like they're hitting some type of pay dirt. In their work environment, in their professional life, things are going really, really well. They're in a position where they are really proud of themselves, and they're in a position where their status, their professional image is getting a major, major boost. They might have landed a very lucrative assignment, and they might have recently, changed jobs, and they're feeling really good about themselves. So if then in the past they might have been lacking in self-confidence, this is the month in which they are gaining back that confidence. For others of you, you are also in a position where, all of these things are happening for you. But I feel like it's somebody that you're already dealing with, and if you are going into this month, your emotional, professional, and as well as financial situation looks very stable. I feel that you are going into this month with, I feel like meeting a lot of new people, socializing, dating as well, and you're doing it through the electronic means, okay? So electronic communications, getting a lot of messages, getting a lot of positive reception in your environment regarding who it is that you're dating or dealing with. So the crowning energy is something that you are thinking about. We have a water sign, so I feel like I'm reading for a lot of Virgos, going through different scenarios with different people. We have a water sign, a Pisces, a Cancer, or a Scorpio. This is their sun, moon, or rising. And this is somebody that wants you back. I feel like they have walked away, you have walked away, and as a gesture that, you are serious or they are serious, somebody's making a grand gesture in order to get you back. I feel like they're no longer repressing their feelings. If in the past they might have been secretive, or you might not have been able to understand where they're coming from, there is a grand gesture coming through in order to prove to you how much you mean to them. And I feel like whoever did the walking away is trying to make a comeback. So if you walked away from them, you're trying to show them some type of grand gesture that you want them back. If they're the one that walked away in the past, they're coming through with a grand gesture to win you back. Whether or not you want to do that, that's up to you, but you want to really understand. I feel like there's a lot of conflict. There has been a lot of conflict with that person in the past. There might have been a third party interfering in that relationship as well. So whoever walked away, I feel like walked away because they wanted to be with another person. And I feel like if that's the situation, it can't really work out. It won't really work out because, leaving one person for another and then wanting to find a way back, it's like settling for less. And so you want to be careful about that. If that is something you have been dealing with in the past, don't go back to that situation, okay? Overall, I do feel though, for singles especially, there is a really high potential here. Go through the numbers because I feel like you're going to make great traction, okay? And then for other people, you are in a relationship that is with an earth sign. I do feel that this relationship is very, very stable as well. It is indicating to me as well there is like a lot of healing that's going to take place, a lot of restoration of faith in yourself and your partner. So you're on the right track here with an earth sign, okay? And then single soulmate connection. Those of you who are dealing with other signs, especially water signs and fire sign. With the fire sign, you like the person, but it's hard for you to figure out where you're headed, what direction you're meant to be in. But this is a really good person. They will fight for you. They're very honorable and they're very trustworthy. And then for others dealing with thinking about a water sign, I feel like you've already walked away. They're making a gesture to come back, but I feel like you're moving on with somebody else, okay? So I do feel like this is probably one of the most positive reading for the entire 12 signs. So I do wish you the best, Virgos. This is going to be a good month for you guys. So if you like to book a private reading with me, visit my webpage. The information is in the description box below where you can book an appointment for yourself and view my availability. I believe I am booked out into the middle of the month as of right now. I am also no longer doing the video readings. I'm trying to save my energy to do these monthly readings instead so that I don't burn out, okay? So forgive me, but the video readings will be back at a future date. I'm not sure yet when, but at a future date, maybe next year. Stay safe as well, okay? I'll be back in about 2 weeks' time, and I'll try to publish those videos early, okay? So once again, I apologize for the delay. Take care of yourself, Virgos, and I'll see you in about 2 weeks. Bye-bye.